All right. We are recording this for quality purpose. My name is Brigitte Höfele. I am honored and excited to be here with you. Let me share my screen again. Well, there we go. As we're talking about neuro-linguistic programming, I am very passionate about NLP, and in the chat box, I want to hear from you. What are you interested in learning about neuro-linguistic programming? And as you're doing that, I'm going to give you some information about who I am and why you should even listen to me. My name is Brigitte Höfele. I'm a communications grandmaster. I work with organizations around the globe. I'm invited to speak on stages all around the world. I did a TED Talk in Frankfurt, Germany last October on listening. And that's what NLP is literally all about. It is about listening, but not just with our ears. It's listening with our eyes. It's listening with our intuition. It's listening with our emotions. It's listening with our sense of touch. It is listening on all levels. Look up the TED Talk, Brigitte Höfele TED Talk. That's the only one that's going to come up. That would be me. Listen to it. I know, no pun intended. And learn from it. It is an incredible TED Talk. I did it for myself because I was not a great listener. And you'll listen to my story in the TED Talk as well. So we are here to learn about neuro-linguistic programming, the concise introduction to NLP, because we all have blind spots. And as long as we have blind spots, we cannot truly become the person that we are meant to be. So NLP is assisting you in filling in those blind spots, filling in those blanks, so you can become the greatest version of yourself. And we are listening, and neuro-linguistic programming is giving you the data points of what to listen for, not just with our ears, with our eyes, with our touch, with our thinking, with our feeling. And listening will help you to fill in these blanks. Within neuro-linguistic programming and the ongoing courses after the concise introduction specifically, you're going to learn how to build rapport. Rapport is all about how do you build this know, like, and trust that everyone is talking about. You know, you hear in marketing, people say, oh, people will buy from you when they know, like, and trust you. What does that mean and how do you do it? So that's rapport building strategies that we teach in the NLP practitioner course. Today, you're going to walk away with the laws of success for your everyday life, your personal and your business life. In the practitioner course, you're going to learn how to detect limitations in the communication. You're probably already communicating with people at work or in your family, and you are being aware that there are limitations, and we all have them, including myself. It is a matter of awareness of what you're going to do with becoming aware of those limitations and how can you recover from these limitations. And these limitations are verbal and nonverbal, the things that we're saying and the things that we're not saying. Defining what you want and how specifically do you want it and what are you going to do with it? Creating those win-win-wins. How do your eyes speak and what do they say? Recovering from communication errors with a clarity model to recover those limitations that I just talked about, and doing then the exact opposite. So let's dive right in and get started. For the ones that just joined us, make sure that you have something to write with and something to write on as you want to take notes. I just want to make sure that we have everyone here. Okay. I thought we had someone else just joined, but apparently not. Neuro-linguistic programming is the study, there is that person, is the study of how our thoughts, our feelings create our reality. So neuro is our brain, our operating system. Language is our communication, verbal and nonverbal, as we already established. And how it has an effect on our behavior, how it has an effect on other people's behavior. So how do I have, which effect do I have? The thoughts that I'm thinking And the words that I'm saying or the body language that I'm exuding, where I'm not saying any words, and yet I am talking. One cannot not communicate. That is one of the success laws of NLP. You cannot not communicate. Welcome everyone, that for the ones that have just joined, make sure that you're introducing yourself really quick in the chat box. As we're diving right into NLP, make sure that you have something to write with and something to write on as you want to take notes in this concise introduction. NLP is all about people. It's for people, from people. It's exploring these new vistas of learning and of experiencing your learning and experience and other people's learning and experience. It makes change simple, lasting, and enjoyable. NLP is the meta program of our communication. It is the mere foundation of how we communicate. And as I said earlier, we all have limitations in our communication, and those limitations have probably been passed on by family members, thought leaders, religious leaders, friends, teachers, and they have shaped us in who we are today in our everything that you see and not see, with all of the greatness and all of the limitations. And I shared earlier with you that I am sharing success laws with you. And at the very end, I have a gift for you. So make sure that you claim your gift at the end of this session. So it is about the qualities of your life, because we all want to have the results that lead to a quality life, however you define that for yourself. But that quality of life and the quality of the results that we have are only as good as the quality of our communication. And that's it. So we are with NLP, we're differentiating success from failure. A lot of people, I coach high-level executives, C-level executives, and a lot of people say, I failed in that, or I didn't fulfill fill in the blank, whatever they needed to fulfill. That is not a failure. That is a feedback that it didn't work that way. And when you can see it as a feedback rather than a failure, now you're able to look at the learning in what you have just learned. But most people just focus on the failure and go, well, that didn't work, so I'm not going to do that anymore. So that didn't work. Well, that didn't work because you didn't work, and you weren't able to open up and see the possibilities and opportunities of learning. So with NLP, we're differentiating success from failure, and that depends on quality strategies, power, your power, other people's power, care, knowledge, and the one that implements all of that in this very competitive and challenging environment. Those are the people that are going to, dare I say, win. This is not about one person winning. This is about everyone winning. And you're going to hear me talk about win strategies. And it must be a three-part win in everything that we do. It cannot just be one win. I'll talk about that later. So NLP is the tool that is an absolute must to guarantee your success, starting right now. Now, we're committed. And I am personally committed as the CEO of the Center of NLP, which has been established in 1986, to pass on this very powerful communication methodology to the people that are creating these wins. Because if it's only one win, that means there's ego involved. It's only for oneself. And there's no caring about the other person, or if the other person is in tune with what you're saying or what you want them to do, or whatever the scenario may be, because it's communication. It can be used for anything and everything. It is about creating these win-win-wins. And when we create win-win-wins, that means I have a service or product to offer you. You are actually having a problem that you need solving from, that is a win-win. I win, you win. You get your problem solved. I have the solution to your problem. That's a win-win. That's what we usually get. A win-win-win makes I win, you win, and through the work or the solution to your problem, hold on, your family wins. Okay. Will you please go ahead? I muted you. Okay, let's see. So when you win as the offer of the product or service, and your client wins, that's a two-way win. When their family wins by working with you, that is the third win. When their community wins, when their spouse wins or whoever else wins, that is the third win. That's when you are creating these ripple effects. And that is key. And only then will I personally, with my staff and my faculty, teach you. If we see that you are just using it for a one win for your own ego and for yourself and not creating those other wins, we're out. We have been teaching for decades individuals that are creating wins. And that's what we're committed to. Now, some of you might know this gentleman. His name is Anthony Robbins, or known as Tony Robbins. I have spoken on the same stages with him, and he is known for saying, success leaves clues. I say success comes in patterns. And patterns are they are what one of the success laws of neurolinguistic programming says, that success is modeled. There is expert modeling involved. And when you have children, you're doing that very naturally. You are modeling things of what to do, how to ride a bike, or how to bake a specific bread that you might be baking in your family, how to communicate, how to show emotions, how to show respect for elders or spouses or children. And all of that is modeled. Now, we also exude some models that are not worth modeling, actually, but it's in us, right? It's being a human. So when we can pick up things and do them, although they might not support us and might not support a win-win-win, we still do them. We become aware of them, and we can change that pattern. We can change that model into something that is more desirable and something that we really want to achieve. Now it becomes a success pattern. I have a show every Tuesday afternoon, that's Eastern Standard Time in the United States, that is called the Success Patterns Show, where I tap into highly, highly successful individuals, and they share their success model with us on the show. It's right there. You don't have to, go far. It's right there in the Success Pattern Show. So tune in. You can simply Google thesuccesspatternsshow.com and you'll find it. So the scaffolding, if you look at what holds or what creates a temporary wall or a temporary framework, as you're building a building, you need a scaffolding. And the scaffolding is created with individual pieces and parts called the scaffolds. Now, NLP serves exactly as a scaffolding as you're creating your own results. And the pieces of the scaffolding are state management. I'm going to go deeper into that in this concise introduction today. State management, behavioral flexibility, building rapport, your sensory acuity, and your well-formed outcomes. And it's not one of these five, it is all five. And I will be sharing with you the step-by-step. And once you have mastered the step-by-step, you can then also move them around. But before I allow you to move them around, I want you to really get them in step-by-step. Now, I talked earlier about doing the right thing or seeing failure as a feedback and not as an actual failure. And that mindset is referred to as the effect versus at cause mindset, or a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. So the growth mindset sees opportunities and is constantly developing and learning. That is when you are living at cause. The in effect is a fixed mindset, and it is a very static mindset. Let's go through this this chart that I am showing here really quick. So the static mindset, the effect mindset, is life. The overall mindset is life is happening to me. I am not in charge of my life. It happens because they did this, whoever they are, whatever this is, but they did this, and therefore I don't have anything, or I have this now, or whatever the stories that you're telling yourself. So the static mindset avoids challenges. It gives up quickly. It doesn't see that effort is worth doing it. And then therefore the person becomes bitter. That person living in effect and as in a static mindset sees feedback as a personal attack and is threatened easily by others. The fault is always with someone else. It is never self-reflection of what can I do better, because I am the creator. So their decrease, if they ever would have success, they're decreasing in success and diminishing their own self-worth. And that is no one else is doing than their own. No one else is in charge of that but themselves. And often those type of people do not see choice. They do not see opportunity. They do not see possibilities. They're very in one specific area of focus, and that is on the things that are not working. Now let's look at, on the flip side, at the cause. Person that lives at cause, that is a developing mindset. And that person realizes that change can only start with one person, and that is myself. So they're inward focused. They embrace challenges. They are persistent and consistent in the things that they do and how they're viewing it. They are always putting in the effort because they realize effort is practice, and practice makes me better. Now, be very mindful. I am not saying practice makes perfect. I'm saying practice makes better, because perfect is an illusion that really does not exist. Now, always doing your best and being excellent in anything that you do with the resources that you have available, absolutely. Perfect, let go of that mindset altogether. But it does make you better, and you're constantly improving, you're constantly growing, because feedback is an opportunity to learn. It is an opportunity to become better. That person at cause that is developing learns through other people's success and sees these success patterns. That's one reason why I have the success pattern show, and we're going on 2 years now. So they have ownership of their own power. They have ownership of their own success, and therefore they increase their success and they increase their own free will. So pay attention to who are you? So take some inventory. Who are you? Are you more of the person that is living in effect, or are you more the person that is at cause? And who are the people around you? Are you hanging out with people that are at cause, or are you hanging out with people that are in effect? And if you're an at cause person and you're hanging out with folks that are in effect, that's probably going to tick you off and you get resentful pretty quick. So this program, this concise introduction of NLP, is designed with you in mind, because everyone wants change. But when it comes to actually changing something, there's a lot of finger pointing. There's a lot of, but you need to do that, and this needs to happen, and they need to change, and this, all of those things. And it's funny, because when we do that as humans, our fingers go outward, but there's actually three fingers coming back. So change, as I said earlier, starts with oneself. You might have seen this chart. I call it the knowledge pie. And the smallest piece of the knowledge pie is the things that you know that you know. You've gone to school, you have a degree, you've learned all of these things. You are clear that you know this information, and therefore that makes you an expert in whatever. You might have 5 children, that would probably make you an expert in having children. I don't know. Then there are the things, and that's also a small sliver in this pie. Then there are the things that you know that you don't know. You are here in this concise introduction because you realize that you don't know enough about neurolinguistic programming yet, but you want to learn it. So there is an awareness of the things that you don't know yet, but it's a very small awareness. You might have heard the statistics that as humans, we use our brain somewhere between 8 to 10%. That is about 90% of our brain that we're not even using. And that ties in with this knowledge gap, because the biggest chunk of this pie is the things that we don't even know that we don't know. We have no idea that exists. There are days linked together where I meet people and they have no idea what neurolinguistic programming is. You know it, but you also know that you don't know enough about it yet. That would put you in that blue little sliver of this knowledge pie. And like I said earlier, with NLP, it makes communication, it makes the journey of learning more simple, long-lasting, and enjoyable. And that's where NLP is a beautiful tool in the meta program of our communication. And if it is the meta program that is the foundation, that if that has cracks, or if it's not intentionally created, or may I say even poured as a foundation, then whatever you're building on it is going to crumble eventually, because there's no intention on the foundation. That's where NLP comes in. So as I said earlier, there is a structure, and it's called the well-formed outcome structure, or the well-formed outcome architecture. And I want to go through that, and I want to encourage you to write this down for yourself, because well-formed outcomes are not just some glorified goals. They are the foundation of you getting the results that you eventually want to have. So the 8 pieces of a well-formed outcome, of something that you are clearly envisioning in the future, it must be stated in a positive. So I started working with a new client beginning of this week, and the new client, I asked the client, what do you want? Like, in the future, what do you see yourself having? What do you see yourself having? And the client said, well, I don't want to be poor anymore. I don't want to be broke anymore. And I don't want to be fat anymore. I'm just sick and tired of being slouchy and fat. So those are 2 things, weight and money, that often comes up when I work with someone. Someone's trying to get a hold of me. So those are 2 things that come up very often, of what people want to change, and they don't know how to change. They don't know how to have better eating habits, or better workout habits, or have better habits of forecasting their money, or envisioning and actually taking action on making more money, or doing something that they A, enjoy doing, B, know how to do it, and C, are actually asking for the money of doing it. So it must be stated in a positive. So I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be fat anymore. Those are both not stated in a positive. So in the chat box, I want to ask you, what would be a better way to put this, of what is it that they want? And this is only the first step of the well-formed outcome. In the chat box, I'm going to look at my chat here. What do you think how that can be stated in a positive. Let's just go with one. I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be poor anymore. How can that be stated in a positive? Anyone? Put it in the chat box. I want to be wealthy. I would like to be rich. Yep. I want to have enough money. Great. Fantastic. And I would even, and these are all great ways of saying it. I want to introduce, and you've probably heard this before, I want to introduce a language pattern, which is, that's what NLP is all about. It's about communication of the I am statement. And you probably have seen the I am statements in manifestation. I'm not talking about manifestation right now. I'm simply talking about stating it in a positive and making it an I am statement. When I say, I want to have enough money, or I would like to be rich, or I can see myself being wealthy somewhere in the future, there is still it's not confident, right? It is questionable. I want to be, I would like, those are all things that have not happened yet. When you can cut that pattern and you can say, I am, not I will be, that's another one of those, because that is something in the future. When you say I am, you are declaring it, and it's starting right now and it's going into the future. I am wealthy. I am rich. I am skinny. I am fit. I am thin, thick, whatever it is that you want to be, right? You state it as an I am. And I have my clients take either their own lipstick or their partner's lipstick, or have them buy a lipstick if they don't have, and write it on their bathroom mirror. What is it that they are? I am, fill in the blank. And they have to stare it in the face every day. And that creates confidence. Okay, so I'm getting really excited and carried away with this. So that is the first one. I am, that is stated in a positive. Number two, it's testable in experience. When do you know that you are, let's go with our exercise right here. When do you know that you're wealthy? Well, my client might say, when I have X amount, and now you want to be specific again, X amount of currency in the bank account. Okay, great. Is it within your control? I had a client about 11 years, so it's probably going on 12 years now, come to me and say, I don't want to be, exactly, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be fat anymore. I don't want to be poor anymore. I want to make, and then I asked her, I said, what do you want? And she said, I want to make $3 million. And then I asked her, and this is exactly the next question that I asked her, how much are you making right now? And she says, I don't even know, maybe, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000. And I said, so you want to jump from, say, $2,000 a month, that is $24,000 a year, to $3 million. And then it just hit her like a ton of bricks, and she's like, yeah, that's a lot. And I said, it can be done, but it needs to be done in steps. So my next question then was, what do you have right now in your business? Or do you have a business? First of all, are you an employer? Do you have a business that is within your control to actually make the $3 million? And she says, yeah, I have a business. I've just been treating it like a hobby. So fast forward 5 years from when I started working with her, she hit the $3 million. And now she's made even more. But we had to break it down. First, I had to get her out of her effect mindset, to get her into her cause mindset, to get her into action of what she can do, what was within her control in her business, step by step by step. Number 4 is the ecological consideration. And that means, is it worth having? Are you willing to put in the work? Was making those $3 million within 5 years, was that easy work? No. Was it worth it? Heck yes. she could have easily said, you know what? I don't want to put all of this effort in. That's work. Well, that's where I say choose your heart. So is there an ecological consideration? Is it worth having? How bad do you want it? Les Brown, a great friend and motivational speaker, says, you've got to be hungry. And if you're not hungry, it's not going to happen. Number 5, is it in your environment? Do you have the context? Do you have the vessel for it to actually get what you want? Number 6, is it aligned with your own identity? If someone says, I want to make $3 million, and I say, okay, so you want to make $3 million, what are you going to do? Well, I think the easiest that I could do would be selling cigarettes. And then I would ask, okay, so do you smoke? And that person might say, oh my gosh, are you crazy? No, I don't smoke. That's horrible for your health. Aha. So the belief system is that smoking equals horrible for your health, but yet you want to sell cigarettes. How is that aligned with your identity? Because the universe rewards one thing and one thing only, being in alignment. It will catch you being out of integrity quickly, and then you're going to pay for it. So is it aligned in your identity? Number 7, do you have the resources for it? Do you have the vessel? Do you have the manpower? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the resources to actually do what you want to accomplish? And number 8, within which time frame do you want to do this? Because if you're not putting a time frame on it, it can be 50 years from now. Well, I want to make 3 million, but in 50 years. Well, then I'm not going to be around anymore. Sorry. And she won't be either. Right. Then it's not worth having. So there's no ecological consideration. So within which time frame are you going to create what you are creating? And then declare that time frame. Within her initial goal was 1 year, 3 million within 1 year. And then she quickly, and this was within days, she quickly decided that's not going to work. I do not have everything in place yet to make 3 million within a year with what she had, with the business that she had. And then she went to 3 years, and the 3 years went to 5 years. So along the way, along the journey, along the process, she got feedback of what's working and what's not working. And she constantly adapted and learned and implemented, but she never lost sight of what she truly wanted. So well-formed outcome structure. A connection begins when the other person feels seen, valued, heard, and understood. And that's when you start to build rapport with someone. And it's as simple as building rapport with your spouse, your landlord, your banker, your boss, your father-in-law, your uncle, whoever you want to build rapport with. When you start truly being able to connect to the other person, that's when things start to shift. I had a lady who, when I said landlord, kind of triggered what I'm about to tell you, the story I'm about to tell you. She went through all of our courses. She first went to the concise introduction to NLP, as you are doing right now. Then she took the practitioner course. Then she took the master course. Then she took the coaching course. And in the practitioner course, she literally had to ask family members for the money to take the practitioner course. And she was sitting in the practitioner course. She's hungry. Like, she wants this so bad. Something's got to give, something's got to change. So she's sitting in our practitioner course, and she's just glued to every word that the teachers are saying. And I was in the room, I was co-teaching with someone else. And suddenly I see this look on her face, and she leans back, and she's like, she has this aha effect. And I said, Tanya, will you share with me what you have just experienced? And she says, yes, my landlord, for the longest time, I have been trying for him to fix our back deck on the house. And I now know that I've never built a connection with him. I've been living in that house for 8 years, and I don't even know what if he has kids. I know nothing about him. And I said, so success work, go back when you see him the next time, find out more of what he truly values. And out of that, and I know because she keeps telling me of how much of a beautiful relationship she's built with him, the landlord, which now she says he's not the lord of my land. I'm actually going to buy the house from him. He's just becoming a friend. And those are the things that can happen when you are truly interested in the other person, when you're truly interested in connecting on a deeper level. So I want to go through the human communications model rather quickly, as all of these strategies that I'm sharing with you today, we go much, much deeper in the practitioner course. So as I said earlier, we are communicating through our own limitations. As we're taking in information, and at any given moment, we're taking in about 2.5 million bits of information per second, per any given moment. There's just information flying at us. If you would decipher it right now, there's so much going on. You hear my voice, you see the screen, there's probably other things going on around you. You might be smelling things that are in the environment. You might be feeling your behind pressing against the chair wherever you're sitting. So there's constantly data points flying at you, over 2 million bits at any given moment. And we're taking those data points in through our senses. We see them, hear them, feel them, smell them, taste them. And in order to not go into complete and utter overwhelm and just freeze and do nothing, our brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes information. And it has to do that, or else it just would go into complete and utter overload. The deletions, distortions, and generalizations are filtered through our values and our beliefs, our memories, our culture, our upbringing, our experiences, our trauma, whatever we have, it is filtered through that. And through that filter and through the deletions, distortions, and generalizations, we are creating our own internal representation. So the outer external event does not one-to-one equal the internal representation. It is a representation of what the outer means to us. We give it meaning. We're meaning-making machines as humans. Through that internal representation, we are making up our mind of how we feel. We are making up our mind of what kind of mood that sets us and what kind of state of mind that puts us. So out of that, our mindset is created, and that mindset shows up in our physiology. We're either, pissed off or closed off, or that's funny, and we're leaning in and we want to learn more. We're super interested in just writing down all of the notes, all of the information that Brigitta's giving you. So it's showing up in your physiology, and your physiology to others is now seen and picked up as your behavior. Now, there might be people around you, especially in a work environment or family environment, people that you just don't appreciate their behavior. Know that a person does not equal their behavior. And I say that very cognizantly and very specifically to you, because when you can see that a person does not equal their behavior, the good news in that is that with neurolinguistic programming, you get the tools to shape their behavior. You have the tools to have an impact on their behavior, on your own behavior and on other people's behavior. But in order to change, you must have a connection. You must have rapport. Most people just go in and as thought leaders or leaders of a team or a company, and they just want to change everything, but they have no connection, no rapport with the team members. And then they wonder why the change is not being welcomed, or it falls flat, and there's all sorts of other opinions coming up. So in order for the change to happen, you must be a master at building rapport. And that is one of the first strategies that you learn in neurolinguistic programming, being a practitioner. So before I let you go today, I gave you a lot of information already. I want to share the success formula of Life Masters, and you apply this in your business life and in your personal life. And that ties into the scaffolding that I shared with you earlier and the well-formed outcome. So number one, and I went already deeper into this, is know what you want. Know what the outcome is. When I go into a conversation with someone, the other day, we bought a car for our daughter. When my husband and I work together or separately and we do something together, we communicate what the well-formed outcome is going to be when we do XYZ, whatever we're doing, whatever we're getting, whatever we're trying to accomplish. So we're clear what the intentional outcome is. We see it in the future, we're declaring it. And then we take intentional action. It's not just any action, but it's got to be intentional. And it's got to be intentional, what I said earlier, to create this win-win-win. It's not just give me what I want and I don't care about you. It is truly creating these triple wins. So taking intentional action. Told one of my clients the other day, in order to get from dreaming, and there's nothing wrong with dreaming and setting goals, and then getting it to reality, is a intentional bridge that you're creating. It's not happening from the dream to reality in one jump. It must be in incremental steps. So you're creating this bridge. Sometimes it's a rather large bridge that you're crossing from the goal, the dream, to the reality. And that each step is action, and it's intentional action. So you must be aware of what the intentional action steps are. And in order to take the intentional action steps, you actually must know what's on the other side of the bridge. What's my outcome? What am I aiming for? Number three is being aware of what's going on in here, being aware of your mental and your emotional state. So what is, if you're, let's go with the statement that we had earlier. When you say, I am wealthy, and you have a mental state of everyone's an idiot and I don't deserve anything and I don't, and you're just bitching and moaning, well, guess what? I don't think anyone wants to do business with you, and therefore you can declare that you're wealthy all day long. But if your mental state gets in the way and your negative mindset gets in the way, then you're not going to take the action steps that you actually need to take in order to get to that wealth, whatever that looks like for you. So you got to be aware of what's going on here and take inventory. Does that actually support in my behavior the things that I want to accomplish? And if not, work with someone that can help you turn it around. As humans, it's rather hard to change by yourself. And this is something that I have for my coaches. I serve on the International Coaching Federation board here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I certify other coaches. And I say, when you are working with a coach or you are looking for a coach, ask them, who's their coach? And if they say, oh, I already know everything, I don't need a coach, run for the hills. That is a red flag. Everyone, including coaches, including incredible thought leaders and trainers, need someone that they work with, a mentor, a coach, someone that they work with, because we're all humans and we get stuck in our own nitty-gritty little detailed thinking. So be aware of what's going on in your little mindset of yours. Number 4, this is a big one, and it is the biggest law of neurolinguistic programming. Have behavioral flexibility. And here's the law of requisite variety that states the person with the most flexibility controls the system. And when you're able to be most flexible in your communication, in your listening, in collecting the data points, and you can be so flexible and yet rooted in your own values that you can sway in the wind and allow the other person to sway with you, and you start building that connection and dancing, that is much, much more supportive to you and to them than you being stagnant and rigid and not flexible at all. So having behavioral flexibility, that is not the, you can be in your mindset, you can be a yoga master in your communication, you can be a yoga master, because if you can do it in your body, you can do it in your mind and in your communication as well. Number 5, operate from a physiology, that is the outer, and a psychology, that's the inner, world of excellence. So operating from a physiology and a psychology of excellence. And this is tapping into what I said earlier, that there is no perfect. There is a realm of excellence. And when you do what Don Miguel Ruiz states so beautifully in the 4 agreements, when you're always giving your best in any given moment, you are coming from a place of physiological and psychological excellence, always doing your best. And you always do your best when you're most resourceful. So be most resourceful with everything that you have available. It is not about the resources, it is being most resourceful. So I might not have the resources to do all the things that I want to do, but I know who I need to contact that's resourceful, that have the resources to do the things that I need to get done. Now, that's a difference between resources and being resourceful. So building rapport quickly is the key. It's one of the big strategies of neurolinguistic programming. Trust me, there are over 50, and you will learn them step by step by step, just as you learned it here today in this concise introduction to neurolinguistic programming. So with that being said, as I shared with you, I have a little gift. It is the success laws of NLP. You will get it in an email after this session. I think everyone has left their email. I hope it was the correct email, so you will get it through Eventbrite. So we're sending that to you. And we want to extend an invitation to the NLP community. And it is a community where we're connecting the known to the unknown. This is a master neurolinguistic programming strategy, connecting the known to the unknown. So you can move away from what's not working any longer to move towards what you truly desire, what you are declaring you are now, in maybe your business life or your personal life. And within the NLP nation, that's what we call the community, we share best practices. We practice together every Monday. I have been doing this, and I run this Monday morning call. Well, here it's Monday morning in the US. When you're in Europe, it's more the middle of the day. I've been running this call for the last 3.5 probably years now. And I get so much out of it because I hear of how the nation members are implementing their NLP strategies. And it makes me joyful, because when we can communicate from a place of win, 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 we all win. And that's what I'm all about. So I want to invite you to belong, implement, and grow in the NLP Nation. It is a subscription for an entire year. You have access to the NLP Nation, and it is $500, $497 for an entire year. You get all of these incredible things as we go through Learn, Do, Teach. Those are our core values. Structured weekly NLP calls, ongoing curriculum. We have just ended our whole negotiation sessions. Those were like, I think, 2 months of just negotiation sessions. Good news, you have access to all of the recordings. It is all there. A very, very strong NLP community of NLP master practitioners that they're there. to support. They're there to practice, to answer questions, to, you might say, I am writing this email and I want to use the advanced language patterns of NLP, but I don't even know where to begin. That's where the NLP Nation comes in. We're all about fun, integrity, knowledge, and we're about you. So write this down. You become what you think, and you attract what you feel. You generate what you articulate, and you create what you imagine. And that's truly what NLP is. This is not the end. This is the mere beginning. I'm super excited that you were here with us today. Follow us on all the social media. Check us out on YouTube. We have a bunch of YouTube videos. Follow us on all of the social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We have shorts of information going out daily. Make sure that you share it with others. If you have a question, just shoot us a quick email, Brigitte@centerofnlp, or even easier, info@centerofnlp.com. And you want to see this slide. We want to hear from you. We want to make sure that you get your questions answered. When you are going deeper into neuro-linguistic programming, you want to make sure that you are learning from people that are in direct lineage, from grandmaster practitioners and master trainers that have not learned NLP on YouTube, but that are in direct lineage to the founders of neuro-linguistic programming. And that's what you get here. We're one of the first NLP centers that have been established in the 80s, and we're still around. We're here to support you. And if you want the recording, just shoot me a quick email. This is the email, Brigitte@centerofnlp, Brigitte@centerofnlp. And if there's anything else that we can do, shoot us a quick email. We're here to support you. We're here to answer your questions. Thank you for being here. Do we have any last questions before I let you go? There are great tips for overcoming fear of visibility. Yes, and that is a longer question. So Anna, I would encourage you to shoot me a quick email as well on that and put that in the subject line so I know it's from you. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this another incredible, fun, concise introduction to NLP. I'm going to put my email here again one more time, centerofnlp.com. Yep, that's it. And we have another one, concise introduction of neurolinguistic programming, in 2 weeks, same time, same place. Until then, ciao and bye for now.